When stress is high, the body can get overworked, and we can experience things like extreme exhaustion, impaired memory, bloating. We might have some crazy cravings, like you have to have a sweets or you have to have something salty. You might be dizzy when you're standing. So, healing the body is a critical piece to weight loss, increased energy, improved immune functioning, mental clarity, hormone balance, and also a well functioning brain. So, once the body is able to be in a restful state, so when that parasympathetic nervous system kicks in, the next best course is stress management. So, the lifestyle today, even though it can make us motivated and we're productive, we're continuously putting our bodies through stress. Um, and it becomes a cycle and it can exhaust us and throw our hormones out of balance, and now we're inflamed and now we're sick. And we're seeing this when we're experiencing weight gain and when we're tired, when we're more irritable than normal, and when we get sick. So the impact of stress can definitely have impacts on our health, our mind, and our physical body. Um, so even though stress is an automatic response from our sympathetic nervous system, due to our triggers or our stressors, some stressors can come at predictable times. So in those predictable situations, um, like when we're watching television shows or when we're dealing with predictable people, or if we're going to traffic and we know that there's going to be, or I'm sorry, if we're going to work and you know that there's going to be a lot of traffic, or if you have an upcoming meeting with your boss, those places that demand, um, that place high demands on you, or father family gatherings, um, we can choose how to handle that stress. So we can either change the situation or we can change our reaction, because we can't, situations we can't control, and people we can't control. So when we are deciding which option to give a scenario, you want to think about the 4 A's. So avoid, alter, adapt, or accept. So you want to first, avoid unnecessary stress. So take the pressure off. You don't want to avoid situations that, of course, need to be addressed. However, um, there are many stressors that can be eliminated. So know your limits and avoid taking on too much that you can handle. So here are some things that you may be able to avoid. So avoid people who stress you out. If there is someone that consistently causes stress in your life, um, distance yourself. Limit the amount of time you spend with that person. Set some healthy boundaries, or if you feel it's necessary in that relationship. You can take control of your environment. Think of the things that you can control. So if the news makes you anxious, because there's a lot of negativity in the news, or if something makes you nervous or stressed in the TV, don't watch it. If your favorite show, maybe it is something, your favorite sitcom, but because some of the situations are so similar to yours, they are triggering, they're causing you fear and anxiety. Watch something else. I know it is engaging. Maybe it is because it is emotionally engaging. But for health and mental peace, watch something else. I think watch something else. It may be advisable to watch something else. So if traffic makes you angry and stressed, maybe find a different route. Arrange your schedule, to take the path less traveled. Um, if you're going to the store, and you don't like it, if that's the unpleasant chore, then try online shopping, or try going at a different time when you know it might not be busy. So explore your options. Work on your to-do list. So, what do you need to do? Analyze your schedule, what you need to do, what's a priority for you in your daily tasks. So, if there's too much on your plate, figure out what is a priority and what is not truly a priority. What can you put at the bottom of that list? Um, Also, maybe you want to avoid caffeine or sugar. That might be hard, but your body will thank you because caffeine does trigger the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. So, um, caffeine does give us that boost, that energy boost, but sometimes it can be too much on our body. So if you notice that it is affecting you physically, or even mentally, maybe that is something that you want to avoid. Avoid unhealthy foods. So this includes like fast food, processed foods, white flour, artificial sweeteners. So processed foods are definitely a stressor on the body, and we want to remove stressors if we are being affected by them. Um, so think about refined sugars and unhealthy fats. So there are diets and things that you can try. Explore your options and see what is best for you. Um, and the second A we want to focus on is alter. So if a situation needs to be dealt with head on, of course, deal with it, but maybe we can alter something a little bit. So maybe that might be including changing the way that you communicate, the way you look at something, or the way you operate in your daily life. So that might be if you are not used to expressing your feelings or expressing your needs, that might be you standing up for yourself, instead of you bottling them up and hoping someone reads your mind, or that someone can sense what you need. Express yourself. So if something is bothering you, if you might need to be more assertive and communicate your concerns in an open and respectful way. um, so if you need to study for an exam, but your friend is calling you to go have drinks, you might have to tell them you can't come out or you can't gossip with them right now. Um, so that resentment doesn't build because they don't, maybe they do know, but maybe they don't know that you need to study or you were studying right now. So express yourself. Also be willing to compromise. So um, if you ask someone to change their behavior, be willing to change your behavior, so that you guys can meet in the middle. If that is something that you are able to do. Also, maybe create a balanced schedule. So, a healthy work life balance. All work and no play is a recipe for burnout. It's a disaster. You want to make sure that you have time for fun and recreation. It is a human need. So, I know that people need to work, I know that people need to get money, but we also have to make time to laugh. It's just the little things in life. Um, and the third A is adapt. So if you cannot change the stressor, just change yourself. We can always control ourselves. So you can adapt to stressful situations and you can regain a sense of control by changing your expectations and your attitude. So reframe the problem. Try to view stressful situations from a more positive perspective. So you might think that there's a person that nags you if you smoke or if you drink or if you're doing something, that they view as unhealthy and they're stressing you out. However, instead of thinking of it as them stressing you out or them nagging you, think about it as maybe they don't want to nag, but they care about you and your health. So adapt and think about looking at the big picture. Take perspective of a stressful situation and ask yourself if it will matter in 5 minutes, if it will matter in 5 months, if it will matter in 5 years. Is it worth getting upset over? There's a saying that says, like, if someone can make you upset, they have control over you and they've won. So is that worth it? If the answer is No, then maybe alter or adapt. Um, so also adjust your standards. Perfection is a big source of stress that can be avoidable. Again, we are human, so you want to give yourself grace. Um, know that we're gonna have some mess ups, we're gonna have some flaws, we're gonna make some mistakes. Um, but give yourself grace. And then practice gratitude. What is something that went well this week? What is something you are grateful for today? What is something that made you smile? So, reflecting on the positives can definitely be helpful. Also, you want to accept the things that you cannot change. A lot of things are not within our control, and that is just something that we have to accept. So, some sources of stress are unavoidable. You can't prevent or change stressors such as the death of a loved one or getting a serious injury sometimes. Um, in some cases, the best thing to do is learn how to accept it and learn how to cope with it in a healthy manner. So, even though it is hard in the long run, it will be easier than continuously stressing out your mind and your body. So release your need for control. It is hard, I know. Many things in life are beyond our control, though, and that it particularly pertains to people. We cannot control people, and sometimes we cannot control the way that they behave. So what we can control is ourselves, our reaction. Um, and what we attach to and what makes us upset sometimes. So rather than stressing out over the behaviors of people, understand that people who are who they are. We can either accept a person for who they are and knowing what they are going to bring, or we can just continue to stress out. But the latter may not be the best or the healthiest option for us. So you want to look for the upside. Um, when you have challenges, look for opportunities for growth. What lesson can you learn? If you've made a poor choice that contributed to you being in a stressful situation, what can you learn from those mistakes and how can you level up? Learn to forgive. You want to learn to forgive. Forgive yourself for making a mistake. Forgive other people for or forgive other people or forgive yourself for the expectations that you have for other people. Um, we live in an imperfect world. We are human, and again, we all make mistakes. So, letting go of anger and resentments can be the path of least resistance. Um, you can free yourself from negative energy by just allowing yourself to forgive and move on. Um, you cannot kill an enemy by drinking poison. Um, that poison is going to kill you, not the enemy. So those negative emotions and that stress is not hurting the other person. It is only hurting you. So do something that is conducive to your well-being. And then make sure that you express yourself. What are you going through? Tell someone, find a healthy support system, reach out to someone that you trust. That can be very cathartic. Just venting. So again, there may not be anything that we can do to alter a stressful situation or adapt or um, change a stressful situation, but venting can be a healthy way of releasing your feelings. So those are the four A's. And then think about where you fall in that category.